Welcome to the Ladies Lounge.
Welcome to another episode of the Ladies Lounge with your girl, of course, Carmen here, and my girl on the other side of the world.
What's up, guys? I'm Lena.
It feels like, but not really. Like this whole Zoom thing has really, I don't know. Zoom has us feeling like we're in, remember that movie that was when they were in Mars? What is that? What's his name? The Martian movie. I swear It feels like, is anybody out there?
Right.
In day 256. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it just feels this way. But look, the good thing is, Angie and I have been talking about going back into the studio. I will be able to go back to work soon. And now it's like a matter of like getting you in, because it's baby steps when everyone going back to work. So The plan is to get us within maybe the next episode, if not the one following. We will be in the same building, so you won't have to deal with the delays. You guys won't have to hear all the awkward pauses and stuff. So for now, this is what you get. But today, we kind of wanted to talk about what's been going on, obviously, with everything that's taking place. We are all, I think it's safe to say, we're all emotionally feeling some type of way, whether it is excitement, it is sadness, it is pain, or a little bit of everything. We're all, at that point right now where we do feel emotionally drained. And a lot of us still want to, keep going, but there's no denying that the emotions are definitely heavy right now. And that's really what we wanted to talk about, the emotion, because, I saw this quote that reminded me so much of what you and I were talking about, literally just on the phone, just having a conversation. And Yala, she said, emotion is the energy that moves us, right? And I was like, that's perfectly explains why we move a certain way when our emotions are controlling us, right? So, some people are at edge right now. That's why you're seeing a lot more people fighting each other. That's why it seems like it's more of a race war than what we're actually trying to accomplish with everything that's taking place right now. So I want to start off by saying that you are not alone. Angie and I have had this conversation and we just decided to bring it to the podcast. So I want to start by asking you, how you're doing, how you're feeling, where you're at since the last time I spoke to you. How are you feeling?
It's just a roller coaster of emotions. There's moments in a day where I feel inspired. I see these civil rights leaders out there fighting, and of course I'm on it and I'm informing myself and educating myself on what's going on, reaching out to the civil rights leaders and offering my services as a legal assistant, just doing whatever I can on my end. But I got to the point where I felt so drained by just seeing all the violence. It drains you emotionally and mentally. So I had to just say, all right, let me take a few steps back. Let me check on myself and make sure I'm okay. I'm very big on prayer and meditation, so that's definitely been a big help for me. And it was my girl's Jamie's birthday, so I had to, celebrate with her because it's another year of life. It's a crazy time to celebrate, anything, but at the same time, why are we gonna sit here and not look at the blessings that we have? Another year is always something to be thankful for. So I kind of just, took a little break and said, I'm going to go and spend some time with my girl and celebrate with her. So that's honestly helped me a lot. But at the end of the day, we still have a big fight ahead of us. So it's almost like a reset button. So I'm ready to get back to it. But how are you feeling?
The same, I've been doing everything I can to do my part to give information because, it's crazy because you look at people in our position, right? Radio personalities who have become, and I always tell you this when it comes to and this, we talk about this all the time, where when it comes to being a broadcast in any sort of entertainment, but broadcasting specifically, people feel that they know you, right? So they come to you as like a homie, love, a friend. You know what I'm saying? You have this, they build this connection with you already. And there's no denying that connection is there. So when things like this occur, I feel like we take it upon ourselves to want to give that information, to want to, comfort people. And I
Right.
think that's what we already do. But when it comes to this position that we are in, like me being in radio, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
every day I got to find ways. I'm literally reading, I'm reading books. I'm reading ways that I can help. I'm researching resources that can help other people to get information on how they can help, because I kid you
Mm-hmm.
not, my DMs are flooded. My emails are flooded with people asking, what can I do? When's the next protest here in Fresno? I have people in
Mm-hmm.
LA hitting me up with information, over there. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel I want to do all these things. I want to, give as much information, but it's also, like you said, you get to a point where you start feeling a little drained, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
also don't want to give up this fight. You also don't want to
Right.
stop. So when do you find that moment to detach, right? Because as much as we try to detach, let's be honest, let's be real, we can't. It's hard. We've tried
Yeah.
it. I know you've tried it. And I did something a little bit different this past weekend with my kids, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a choice but to detach. You know what happened? I went to the lake. I took my kids to the lake. Literally, it wasn't planned. It was just like, let me get my kids out of here. They've been
Mm-hmm.
home. They've just been stuck doing the same thing, whether it's on their,
Right.
digital stuff, or, fighting with each other. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to get them out of here because I'm going crazy my damn self. So I
Right.
ended up going to the lake, and literally we had dinner there at the lake. My parents went,
Aw.
my sister, and when we got up there, I went to check my phone and there was no
Mm-hmm.
service. So I was like, well,
Mm.
look at God. I have no other choice but to detach. So I literally like taken in that moment of just
Mm-hmm.
not stressing about an email, not stressing about, do people have enough information? Am I doing
Mm-hmm.
enough? Like the fear of missing out, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
had to just leave that outside and just really enjoy the moment. My kids, playing with in the water and throwing
Right.
rocks, and like these moments that I miss. And then this ice cream truck is something so stupid and silly, this small, but
Mm-hmm.
the ice cream truck pulled up, and like that also was another, I don't know, form of affirmation that I felt like I needed, like to take me back to basics, my childhood
Mm-hmm.
memories, right? So, we got ice cream, and I was just like, man, like this feels good. And we forget to enjoy the simple things. What with everything that's happening, all the chaos that's taking place, we know it's
Mm-hmm.
important. A lot of us know it's important, and this change is necessary, but we
Yeah.
forget to still live in the moment with our kids, our
Yep.
family members, because tomorrow's not promised,
Yep.
So we forget these things. And I know you do, because I'd be calling you, you'd be sounding hella stressed out sometimes, and it's like, and I'd be like, I forget too to even like check up on you, So like,
Yeah.
or my
Yeah.
friends, my close friends. And so it's important for us to detach. But now the question is like, how do we make ourselves stop what we're doing and enjoy
Mm-hmm.
the present moment? Because although things are happening around us and this change is necessary, how do
Mm-hmm.
we gather our thoughts and do that? It's a question that I think a lot of people have, and I just feel like people need to know that you're not alone. It's okay
Right.
to feel
Yeah.
the feels.
Mm-hmm. So for the last I suffer from anxiety, and it has been really bad lately, to the point where I'll wake up in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, and I feel like an anxiety attack happening. And it sucks because it's like, I'm asleep. How is
Yeah.
it that anxiety is attacking me when I'm dead asleep? So I wake up and I'm like taking deep breaths, and I'm alone, so it's not like anybody knows what's happening with me, and I just start praying, and I start trying to control my breathing, and I just have to remind myself, like, it's okay to feel whatever I'm feeling. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. I know for a long time outside of this, anger was my go-to emotion, and I had to do some digging and understand, like, well, why is it that I get angry a lot of times over, little things, big things,
Right.
whatever. And I came to discover that anger is actually grief. And grief comes from losing, or feeling like you didn't do a good enough job in something, or just I say right now, for me it's the grief of seeing this country go through this.
Yep.
It's a lot. So I read this book where Kobe was talking about it's the Mamba mentality. I think I had told you
I
I
was just
just
gonna
got
say
it.
it's a mama mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was talking about how he has to listen to his body. And I think that that's, a good way to listen to what's going on with yourself is listen to your body. Are you tired? If you're tired, you need to rest. If you feel like, I know me and you were talking the other day and I was like, girl, I just need to go on this run. I just need to go on this run
Yeah.
because I need it for my mental health. Like just, whatever makes you feel better, I say do it, whether it's working out, whether it's resting, whether it's I finally was able to catch up on my show Insecure. I wasn't able to mentally, I guess, enjoy it for the last few weeks because so much going on, it wasn't even a good distraction for me. I just couldn't. So I just been, doing those little things, like I said, prayer, meditation, reading books, but paying attention to how you're feeling is so important. We ignore it a lot of times, and we tend to, I know for me, I can be super emotional. So, and you guys saw that on the last episode, like I definitely can just out of nowhere, start feeling all these emotions, start crying, and that's okay too. I was talking to one of my friends who's a police officer, and, I just had to remind him, like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to, feel, especially with him because he's Afro-Latino. So, he's definitely feeling both sides of everything that's happening. And I told him, like, it's okay. You don't have to be this big, tough guy all the time. Whatever emotions you're feeling.
Feel the feels.
Yeah.
You got to feel the feels. And that's the thing, I think, that's key. You got to know, how to accept these things. And it's not the easiest thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, how you not feeling it and letting it, like, no, it's definitely something like it controls you. It can control you. And then it can make you push away, And so I want you, the people listening, to take the time to, just stay still for a moment and ask yourself, what's most important to you right now? What do you not want to lose tomorrow? Maybe don't give yourself more anxiety, because trust me, that can do that too. But really think about, the important things. I think a lot of the times we want to cover things. We mask it, whether it's drinking, smoking weed, taking pills, whatever, to mask whatever we're feeling. But we're only digging ourselves deeper. And with everything that's taking place right now, so say you already dealt with anxiety like Angie, I got anxiety as well. My asthma has been so bad right now because of my anxiety. Yeah. So I'm like an inhaler and everything. I've been dealing with my stomach issues now. And the root of the problem is obviously not eating well, but it's also caused from having the stress. The stress is causing me to have this like acid reflux, which has my stomach lining all fucked up. It's just like a big issue, right? So everyone's dealing with something already personally at home, right?
Right.
You have some information that I don't want to talk about it because I'm not sure if you want people to know about it, but you have personal things that you're dealing with at home too that honestly, that alone, what I know about your family, I'm like, I would be, stressed. I would be having all these feelings, but then on top of that, you're worried about other people and making sure they're good, so that it's tough. And I need people to know that, like, you're not alone with that, but now address the issues, which is like the emotions and feeling them and being able to do something about it, like you said, whether it's a distraction, like Angie just mentioned, she sat there and watched Insecure. Believe it or not, that distraction I feel is so helpful because at the moment you're not thinking about anything else but what's going on. You're basically worrying about other people's problems. And that's what's happening when you're watching a show that you love so much, like Insecure, which same. But for this moment of you watching that, you're living somebody else's reality. So you're like not even thinking about your reality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then take that step back to like refocus, like you said, reset. And I think that's where we're at right now. I think it's still important not to lose sight of what's happening and how, you could still do your part. I think allyship is something that us as a society should still keep in mind, that it's not something that you switch it off and on. It's something that you actively got to work on. It's a active, progress. And I think when people say, what can I do to help? How can I be a better person? Sometimes, honestly, like people like with me, I think you're the same because we're more nurturing people, and a lot of women are. But we feel that when we help other people, it makes us feel good,
Yep.
But you just also have to know your limits, because yes, although helping helping people makes you feel good, you also have to worry about helping yourself, you know? So you got to remind yourself of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, just to, you know, piggyback on that, like, you're right. You know, I have stuff going on in my family that I feel most people would probably break down, you know, like I have to remind myself, you have to be strong. You have to remember, you know, that other people are watching you. And I think that that's why when I have my private moments, and you can attest to this, not too many people have seen me cry. So like last episode was a lot for me because I opened up about, you know, something that I hadn't spoken about before. And here I am crying and in front of the camera, and it's super weird for me. But at the same time, it was therapeutic because I'm so used to having to be the strong one. And
when we got done with that episode, just real quick, we stayed on for another half hour, 45 till it kicked us off basically. And we talked about that, and that's important as a friend, because you remember I asked you, we signed off, and then I was like, all right, we're off now, but I want to know how you're doing. Like, how does it, how do you feel now that you not only are allowing people to come into your circle and know what's going on, but also to see you at your vulnerable state, you know, how do you feel? And then you were like, honestly, like, I feel almost like a weight off my shoulders. And you did. You looked like it too, because you looked almost like you did one of these, like, whew, I needed to get that out, you know? Like almost like you were bottling it up, and then you chose to use your platform to just speak on it, and then kind of like help you ease into, all right, now let me move forward, you know?
Right. And it's actually pushed me more towards, you know, just being confident in speaking my truth and just saying, you know, I feel this way because I've experienced certain things, and I feel this way because I am the mother of, you know, a young lady who's going to grow up to be looked at as a woman of color. And, you know, all of that is really important to me because at the end of the day, I do have people watching me, and I have to remind myself that it's okay to be strong, but it's also okay to be vulnerable and show that human side of me. And that's something we all have to remind ourselves. You don't have to be strong all the time. Everything that's happening right now is affecting all of us, whether you're on one side or the other side. Is affecting all of us.
I think I want people to take, after listening to, you know, the fact that I got my own personal issues, you do, and realize that you're not alone with feeling certain ways. I think people need to do something as, honestly, and I always go back to this, it's as easy as doing a Google search. And you know what I love about the fact that you can Google search literally anything is that you're not, anything. You can literally, let me just throw it out there since I can't get it out of my mind now. Did you know that dolphins fuck humans?
Yes. Okay. So crazy that you bring this up.
That just popped in my mind. Like, what the fuck?
So I've always wanted to swim with dolphins. It's like on my bucket list, right?
Right.
And then somebody told me that. I was like, there's no way. So
there's a comedian, Chris D'Elia. He talked about it. That's why I Googled it.
Girl, so I heard about this before, you know, so I was just like, there's no way that a dolphin, and I saw it and how they drag you down and how they'll like, So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of things penetrating me. I'm good. So
I'm good. Yes, girl. Like, and so when I say Google has everything, they got everything. Like Chris D'Elia said that in this comedy stand-up, and I was like, what the fuck? No way. And I was like, oh my God. So when I say there's an answer to everything on Google, and the beautiful thing about it is you can't be judged. Like, you can literally spell out anything in a form that only you, like, you think it's only going to make sense to you. Like, how can I get help? I'm feeling, you know, sweaty at night. I'm feeling, you know, this emotion or whatever. And it gives you options. And now it's your job to like look through and see what's accurate and what isn't, because not everything on the internet obviously is true. But it's literally that simple. You know, I think people forget, like, well, how can I get help? And sometimes too, when you Google search, like, you know, I'm feeling, you know, cold sweats. I'm feeling like my mind is dozing off. I'm feeling like I'm numb. And then literally you'll have doctors pop up too. So that's another great thing about it. And I really, really strongly recommend, because I'm doing this myself. to look into, getting therapy, because I think it's so important, and I think a lot of people are scared, but right now more than ever, the world needs it. Like you said, whether you're on the right side or the left side, you're still feeling, all the emotions and you're feeling drained. But yeah, I definitely recommend for people to just Google search. A book that I recommend that Angie gave me that I still to this day live by is The Four Agreements, because that book literally, it reminds you of, while it's important to learn a lot of things that are taking place, it's also important to unlearn. And so that book that when you recommended it to me, and I was like, remember I was texting, I was like, this book is so good, because it makes you look
I think
at
I was
life.
at your place. Wasn't I at your place? And I think I gave it to you. Or
You gave it to
I
me,
was
yeah.
like,
No, you brought it to me because I had asked you, I was like, do you have any books or something like that? And you're like, I have this book, you got to read it. And you know what's crazy? I have given that book to other people. Not, I still have yours, by the way, your hardcover, but I have told people like to read that book.
I'm like, you better, bitch. Like, I gave you all the love.
I got all your highlights and everything in it. Yeah. No, yeah.
I really like that book. That book really, really helped me. But just to say, if you're watching this or you're listening to this, and if I ever gave you a book, just know I really love you. I really, truly love you, because to me, that's such a beautiful gift to give to somebody.
Especially when you mark it. Especially when you mark it.
Girl, and I know that's all the way marked.
It's all the way through. Yeah. And then and it's funny because, I look at some of your highlights and I was like, why she highlight that? This right here is like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
this is better.
Cool. But it's cool to see, like, I got reading it with your highlights, your markings. That's what it's true. It's a true gift, because I got to see where your thoughts were as you were reading it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I was, and keep in mind, when I got that book, I was like in the beginning stages of my like awakening, so I really started to get into a different mind space. Yeah. So I'm glad that I was able, I bet you if I looked at it now, I'd be like, bitch, how did you not know that?
Yeah. No, but that book is like, if you want to be woke, if you need that awakening, the Four Agreements is such a great book, because it's teaching you the importance of unlearning life. Like really life, from the moment that you're in the womb, like that life is already trying to change you or trying to form you and make you. So it's just so deep that you get so into that you're like, you start thinking of deep ass shit conversations in your head. You're just like, all right, I gotta get
don't be high.
Let me
tell you, don't be high when you're reading this.
Yeah, that's not even being high. Like, so I definitely recommend that book. I've recommended it to people. They've told me the same thing, that it's such a good book. And listen, here's another thing that I think people need to do too. If you're not a reader, I know you like podcasts, I know you like music. It's now so easy to have a book read to you with Audibles. So yeah, so people is like, there's no excuse as to not finding ways to detach, and not finding ways to like really, I wouldn't say deflect what's going on, but just for the moment, take a step back. And that's so important right now. Because while Angie and I are trying to remind you that yes, it's healing is a process, and this is something that we're all going to be emotionally drained from. It's still important to fight that good old fight right now, because we're accomplishing so much from it, I just heard too, and this is something minor, but it's kind of crazy that Cops just canceled their show for 25. It was on 25 years on Fox Network before it moved to, I don't know what other network it's on, but forever. When's the last time you didn't know Cops was on TV? It's always on TV.
Always.
But it's done now. Live PD done now. So like we're seeing these changes take place, not just in our reality in life, but like now culturally, like things are changing, and you're going to see a lot of that. And it's also going to take a toll for a lot of people who are on the left. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to settle into like this new norm. I can't wait. It's exciting. Although we're feeling all these like not negative, but hurtful emotions, it's also exciting. So like that transition of like dealing with at some point feeling like sad, depressed, lonely, hopeless. You also feel like the excitement on like, oh my God, these things are actually happening. Oh my God, this is taking place. Oh my goodness, my daughter, my son may have a better future than we lived. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a beautiful, and I like to call it the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's the process of this journey that we're in right now, that we got to take it in, feel the feels, but also acknowledge the fact that you are a human being, and you need to address your own issues that you got going on. Because although life is going around, you're still dealing with your issues at home. I know you are personally, and I am personally. Also want to give you an update. I fucking started my period again, so bitch ain't pregnant. Yeah.
Girl, I'm gonna need to talk to your man. Like, boy.
He's over here like pew, pew, pew. I'm gonna need you to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bruh. I'm just kidding. No, it ain't. You know what it also is?
The whole club. No survivors.
It's so funny because one of his friends just told me, he's like, he's still shooting up the club. I was like, here's the fucked up part about it is the work schedule. You right? Like I'm up early. He's on like all night. So it's like he's sleeping when I'm awake. I'm awake when he's asleep. So it sucks. So that's my update, along with like dealing with everything else. Every time I get a period, I'm like, fucking shit. But yeah.
Girl, let me tell you. I mean, I still ain't got any, and I don't plan on getting any, so I don't have that problem. Every time I see my period, actually last month, remember, I was like a little nervous because I was like, oh, I'm kind of late, but it can't be.
Girl, I said a little prayer for you at that moment. I was like, please, Lord, she ain't ready. He ain't ready. Like, please. And look at God. God was like, I got you.
God was like, nope.
Yeah. So while, everyone is dealing with this, I just want you guys to know that, yes, the emotions are real. And like I said, emotion is an energy that moves us. And it's important for us to be able to acknowledge our emotions. But at the same time, if you're out there protesting, you're out there finding ways to help and doing your part as an ally, I can encourage you to continue to do so. It's so important. Every little thing counts. A post, a repost, a like, a share, all of that is still so important. It's so necessary. Fight that good fight. Go do what Angie's doing. If you haven't already followed us personally, Angie has shared a lot of different information than I'm sharing. So you're not getting the same thing. Follow the Ladies Lounge podcast too on Instagram, because you're also getting information there. We have links on our Ladies Lounge podcast. If you go to the link on the Instagram, you'll be able to see how you can donate. You'll be able to see how you can take action to create change. So we're trying to give you as much information as possible as well. But just know while this process is going on and we are sharing this information, we are also dealing with our own personal issues. So, for those that listen, that listen just to hate us or dislike us or to have a complaint, keep that in mind, fuckers. We're human. You know what I'm saying? So while you think it's easy to just type on, like, it's still like, just be nice to one another. Like, that shit is so important right now at this very moment, more than ever, to be nice to everyone, because I feel like the media, sadly, is going to make this, or is trying to make this, a war, race war, when really it's not. We're all just trying to be on the same fucking page. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just grateful for this time. Like, what a time to be alive, to witness this history happening and to be a part of it, and just to be able to see after, so much pain that has happened from generation to generation, for us to witness healing and for us to witness the beauty of the power of love and unity. I'm just happy to see all of that. There's been some destruction. I'm a firm believer in sometimes you got to tear some shit up to rebuild.
Fuck it up.
So I am all for that. I'm overall just taking it all in, the good, like you said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all here for the betterment, and I welcome it. Whatever's coming is going to be better than what was. So I'm definitely embracing this new normal that we're experiencing, and I'm definitely I'm more aware. It's like this this new awakening has happened for me. Like, I was already in my journey, on my process of being more aware, but now it's like it's in your face. Like, you can't help but to be aware of these issues that the world is experiencing a big shift right now. And whether, I don't know, I just feel like it's going to happen with or without the people that are anti whatever we're for.
Right.
But I'm just happy to be able to, for my daughter too, for her to witness this and for her to see this positive change coming and to see how involved she is as well. and for her to use, her voice. And for me, it's so important for me to continue to use my voice, because I feel like if I stay silent, I'm letting her down. So,
yes,
you
yes,
know,
and
I've
that's important. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I've noticed, we'll just say I've noticed some family members, feeling some type of way about my post, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if you saw my story where the girl was at the kids' party with the tequila bottle, and she's saying how, like, her mom's mad at her and her family's talking about her, and she's still like taking a tequila shot. I was like, that's me pulling up to the family function, not giving a fuck that they're mad at me for posting about Black Lives Matter. So
Yeah, man.
I don't care. I've always been the type of person that I've always had my own mind. I've always spoke my mind. So anybody in my family and all my close friends know that that's who I am, and that's how I'm always going to be. So
in the words of my parents, I'm an hocicona. So yeah, we've been that way. I think that's probably why we get along. Probably.
Right. And because, we have this natural talent of, being on radio, and it comes because we are who we are. We speak from the heart. And nothing that I've said has felt wrong, if that makes any sense. Like, anything that I have said has come from the heart. I allow whoever wants to receive it. And crazy enough, so a couple days ago, I had posted about signing a petition against ICE. They've been spraying this spray. It's called I believe it's HDQ neutral, and basically what it does, it's causing the detainees at the centers to bleed from their eyes. Like, it's really, really bad. So anyways, I had posted about that, and then I posted this video about, it was like these two news anchors, and they're talking about how this law in Texas where the police are obligated to stop someone who they believe could be an illegal immigrant, and they basically can pull them over or, report them to ICE. So, and then the other person is a Black gentleman, and he's saying how important it is that Black and brown unite so that they can take over, Texas and the government. And so I posted the video, and I checked earlier, I got 110 shares. I've never had anything that I posted had that many shares. So and I've had I think I'm almost at 1,000 views. So it's, very important that we continue to share this information to our community so that they understand the power that we have together. And it's not just about, oh, let's take over. And, no, it's about unity. And, on any side, whether you're left or whether you're right, let's all just work together, and let's make this place a better place for the generations that are to come.
Yeah, man. And I just to really piggyback off that, I want to say that it's important for people to find information. There's literally information everywhere, right? But having those discussions at home, and hitting those people that are on the left, hitting them with facts, it feels so fucking good. Like, to be able to have that, because I talked to you about having a discussion with my nephew. It was bad. I mean, he was defending me because, obviously I'm a big voice here in the Valley. Right. He was defending me because his coworkers who ride for me normally, who are for me, who love my show, love me, right? They had an issue with the fact that I was posting Black Lives Matter, and they had they were asking my nephew, like, well, don't you feel, and I think of this as with my kids, so it kind of brought anger. I felt that anger, that I'm like, leave my fucking kids alone. You have something to say, come tell me, So my nephew, he's a grown ass man, by the way, but he was telling me that they were like, isn't your Thea afraid of getting people unfollowing her and making her feel some type of way? And so he's over here defending me and was like, yeah, I'm sure she knows this and stuff. But then he was also in between. He was kind of like, am I defending you, or what do I do? Where do I stand? Because he was also confused, where he's like, well, where do you stand, Thea? Because I don't understand why Latinos don't matter. I was like, that's the problem, that I'm not saying that. It's just that people want to take that from it. And so I explained to him the movement of Black Lives Matter and why it's important to stand together, and why Black and brown unity is important. And then he kind of brought up the fact of this was a deep conversation. Then he brought up the fact that when everything was going down with Trump, and there's kids still in cages, nobody was saying. I had to pop up photos and be like, let me show you. Here's my resources.
Yes.
Here's the importance of you knowing that that's a lie. People are telling
Mm-hmm.
you things, or you're bringing these things up because you're deflecting from the message that's important. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
problem I'm having with people, and I've been having with people, that I'm just
Mm-hmm.
tired of addressing it. But now it's like the deeper root is, it starts at home. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk. Let's have these conversations. So I was talking to him, and then a different day, he brings up my other nephew, and he was kind of
Mm-hmm.
confused. And then my dad and my mom sat down at the table, and I'm just like, all right, this discussion has to be had. And it was, I was a little like, it's probably gonna go bad, but my dad was
Mm-hmm.
more open ears. My mom was too, to like hearing where I was coming from, and then kind of having that, like, now I understand, because it
Mm-hmm.
was silent. Like, they knew I went to protest. They know I've been
Mm-hmm.
posting all these things. They've seen us talking about it, because I had to review the podcast, and they're listening and stuff.
Right.
So I like to just see people, like, watch how people react. And so when we were
Mm-hmm.
having this discussion, and my dad sat down instead of walking away, and then my mom grabbed coffee and sat down instead of walking away, that was a moment where I realized, oh man, this is good. They're acknowledging what's happening. They're not letting
Mm-hmm.
the media in Spanish. Because remember, I was telling you about how the media in Spanish, like, really fucks shit up. I don't know how
Right.
they manage to, like, really, I don't know, the way they're translating everything is they're making it more of a race war than anything, I feel
Right.
like. So as I was watching, and I tell my mom, don't watch that shit. Like, I'll show you,
Mm-hmm.
different clips. I'll translate for you. But I don't like that the media in Spanish shows people stuff, and then they leave open gaps to give people room to give negative opinion.
Right.
So it's scary, because I don't want my parents to be stuck in that traditional life,
Right.
which, let's be honest, a lot of Latinos our age have those parents where maybe they do things without knowing that it's bad, or knowing that they're moving the wrong way. So to be
Right.
able to have that conversation, I felt anxious. I felt like, okay, are my parents going to butt in and say something negative? But they actually
Mm-hmm.
didn't, for the first time, because I have had these discussions. I talked to you before about,
Right.
black and brown, and it's always been like weird to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been bad in the past. It's been one of those where we just both go our separate ways. And to see them be different now, I don't know if they accepted it, or at least they understood where I was coming from, as opposed to making me feel bad unintentionally. Because our
Mm.
traditional as parents are good at that. they try
Right.
they try to tell you something, but they hurt our feelings, in one way or another. And I've had
Right.
plenty of those discussions. I think you and I should talk about that at some point. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this was a lot better. But it was also like
Good.
one of those draining moments where I was like, oh, I had to explain myself. But it's important to have these discussions. I had to have this conversation
Yeah.
with my son, my daughter. Not that I've
Yeah.
never before, because I'm sure you have too, where you've talked about
Yeah.
your daughter's skin color, and why it's
Mm-hmm.
important for her to know and acknowledge and embrace, where she comes
Mm-hmm.
from, both cultures. So I
Right.
had those discussions with my kids too. And just to bring it up again, it's like, it could be draining for a parent, but I need you
Right.
guys to know it's also very fucking important. And it's also something you don't want to, what is it, like, slam over the head over and over again, because you
Mm-hmm.
also don't want to drain your kids. That's so
Right.
important for your kids to have a clear conscience, and for them to understand that while this is important, I'm not going to beat you over the head over it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
we
No,
can
I
handle
agree.
more when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to emotionally dealing with certain things, because we understand things better. But can you imagine a young mind not understanding clearly what's going on? And so
Yeah.
they start feeling the fear, or more of the
Mm-hmm.
leaning towards the negative side, as opposed to the understanding and peaceful side. So
Yep.
yeah, just be
Yep.
aware of how you communicate with your kids. It's just really important that you do that, but have
Yeah.
those uncomfortable conversations. That is important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've been there, done that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I definitely have had those conversations, like you said, with my daughter. Even as of recent, there were some things that she was asking about, and I had to make sure I was giving her accurate information. My parents, I mean, when I first got with my daughter's dad, it was a bit of an issue because he's Black, and we bumped heads, but they absolutely love my daughter, and they know, like I said, I've always been this way. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do, because that's just who I am. And they have come to understand, the importance of loving somebody regardless of where they come from, their skin color, whatever it is. Like, both of my parents are Mexican. They're both from Mexico. So of course they're going to have that traditional thought. But I told them, you came to America and you exposed me to a whole different, lifestyle.
It's your fault, mama.
So y'all should have stayed your ass over there. But
if you didn't want anything, yeah. If you didn't want don't start no, but it won't be no. Just kidding. But yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. So I've had these conversations with my parents where I'm like, listen, I am Mexican American, so that means my exposure to certain things are going to be way different from what you experience. So I'm way more open-minded than you guys were, because I see the world through a different color lens. So it's just important for us, like you said, talk to our kids, check on their mental health, make sure that, I love that, you took your kids to the lake. I definitely love to take my daughter out and, whenever we can, somewhere where she can just take her mind off of whatever is going on in the world. And even if it's just for an hour, trust me, that helps. So just checking in, like you said, with your loved ones too. It's so important for us to just simple text, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? I definitely appreciate when you check up on me, and I definitely try to do the same, just outside of us doing the podcast, just, hey girl, like, how are you doing? But I think right now it's just a good time for us to check in with ourselves, check in with the people that we love, meet somebody new, and learn, something new from a stranger.
And if I can leave you with anything, it would be, now is the time to have those conversations with family members and friends, even though you are afraid, because if you're afraid to have these conversations, then it means it's necessary. And I'll tell you this, you're going to end up leaving 2020 with leaving a lot of people behind, cutting ties with people, even family members, unfortunately. And that's okay, because the beautiful thing about this is you're moving into the new year, into the new month with less toxic people around you and around your kids, because that's a big issue too, because you keep people around because you figure it's family, or that's just how they're always going to be. And it's like, no, because you're enabling these people to be around your kids when you're trying to show your kids a different way of living, so always just be aware of who your kids are around, even their friends. I'm always like making sure that my daughter's friends aren't trying to put something else in her head, or uncles or nephews or nieces, because you never know, they be doing these little sleepovers, and you never know what they're telling them, or what they're doing. So
what they're hearing.
Yes, be aware of who they're around, because although you're doing all this work with them at home, and all it takes for them to go and visit an auntie and uncle, to sleep over with a brother, a cousin, or even a neighbor, and then they hear something else, and it's more impactful to them because they're hearing something new for the first time, and then it makes them question everything. So just be aware of who you have around. Like I said, you are going to lose people, but this is a time, right now is a time to move forward on a clean slate and leaving those people that are toxic around you behind. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're going to wrap up. I just wanted to check in on you and let everyone know that we're still hanging in there, and hopefully we'll be in the studio together soon. But to everyone, hopefully you take something from this podcast, because we shared a lot of what we got going on, and we know that we're not the only ones. So hopefully you relate in some form, and maybe it enlightened you, and maybe listening to this podcast and made you detach from your reality because you were listening to our reality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hopefully you take care, man. I know you're out there celebrating, having a good time. So be careful. Come back soon, and I'm going to see you soon. Okay?
All right, boo.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.